Open, build, repeat. Another awesome AFOL who's not afraid to show you what's in his wallet and pockets. He also puts a nice little twist on his speed builds by giving you fun facts. You learn something new every day. This was not a paid advertisement for the Cali Brick Clique, but we do encourage you to always learn new things.
Alright, Claire good, Mr. Good. Jamay, you're good?
Good.
He looks like he's about to show himself. Alright, so I'm gonna bring this in 5, 4, 3, 2. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cali Brick Clique, episode 29. And before we begin, remember, you can look us up anywhere where you can find podcasts aside from YouTube, like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And yeah, and as always, we have Ninja, aka Ninja with the Bricks.
Whoop whoop.
What's happening? We got Claire, the plastic architect, which is a really hard person to get a hold of nowadays.
What?
I'm just saying, she's not even showing up to her own stuff.
Stop it.
And this week, we have Jamay, aka Bricks N Mortar. Welcome.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So how's everyone been this past week?
Still waiting for my Adidas promo. It's coming.
Oh,
So did you get one? Like, did you order something?
I didn't. I just went through eBay.
Dude,
Yeah.
I have.
I fucked up. I did it before I talked to you about that. So it
Okay.
was already in the works.
Well, they still have it now, right? For the double VIP. Is anyone getting anything for double VIP?
I had all these grand plans to get
Mhm.
some of the larger sets that I've been wanting either like duplicates of or that are like kind of gonna retire, like the roller coaster and Disney train, like rumors have like come out. But
oh, no.
honestly, I haven't. This is gonna sound crazy. I haven't bought any Lego, and it's gonna sound crazy that this is a big deal, but I haven't bought any Lego since July 1st,
Nice.
and it kind of feels nice to not buy any Lego. I have a huge backlog that I'm enjoying, and I don't know, like, what do you guys say? Like, I'm not worried about not getting double VIP again. It comes every couple months, and it's like, I guess when I went on July 1st, I was able to get the shoe. It's not like there's something missing. I don't need like another Dickens promo that I got, in December. So I don't know. How are you guys?
I mean, I'm on the same boat. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did want the Monkey Key Met, but it's like nothing. Aside from that, I'm trying not to buy anything. So
Proud of you
I don't
guys.
need a promo because I have both the promos, two of
Yeah.
each. So I don't need that. Double VIP, yay, get extra $5. It's not like it's the end of the
Not a
world
big
there.
enough incentive.
Yeah, and then it's like I can go without it. So
That's what I
and I
do.
have like I have a Lego gift card right here, and I'm still not using it. So it's just like, yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I don't need to pick anything up.
Right. There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that I want for sure. It's not like there's
But
no
we can't get them yet because it's not August.
No. Even stuff that's on shelves now. There's a lot of stuff that I want. There's a lot of stuff that I could like do that I have ideas for content with. But I'm just taking a breather right now. I just did a couple trips, and we've got also like Brick Fairs coming up, and I have a feeling like there's going to be a lot of Lego purchases there, and that's at the end of the month. And so that'll just be essentially like a month of not buying Lego, which I think is
I think that's good. You're like conserving yourself. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
exactly, and I think it'll make it more special. And there's so many sets that I bought and I'm so excited about, but I just fundamentally don't have the time to do it because I'm building, but I don't build super fast because like I intentionally don't. I don't know. And we can go on a whole tirade, but I don't know. Jamay, are you going to be buying anything?
I don't think so. I'm kind of like you, where I'm like, I got the stuff I wanted right away when I did. And the stuff I'm interested in, especially because I'm part of a group that's part of the LAN, we get to do requests. So I'm like interested in the typewriter, but I don't want to buy it for myself if I can review it for them and I can kind of get it for free. So the way I think about buying is super different. Where I'm like, double VIP isn't a huge
I get
incentive
it.
for me.
Because when I used to work for Lego, 50% was at my disposal,
Mhm.
and I did not take advantage of it.
I feel like it's hard though because you're surrounded by it all day. It's not like a fan now where you don't have access to it in the same way. So it's like the value of it is so different. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm not jumping up and down being like, yeah, I'm going to stay up to midnight and get something. Because also the stock is finally kind of even. It's not like we're battling it out
Things like
anymore.
fly off
Rolling
shelves.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like if I want something, I think it'll be there in a month or two when I have a plan for it or want to build it. I'm not really a backlog person. I kind of like get a set when I want it and then I build it and then I look at the next one. So just a budget thing.
Yeah. Okay. So you're doing it for budgeting purposes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, what about the new bus, the VW? You guys see
It
that
looks
today?
cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I like it. I have the original one, which I'll probably build this week. Actually, that's like kind of got me excited about it. So
Ninja, you said it was bigger?
Yeah, I like the way it looks. I just don't like the scale. It's not consistent with the other creator expert cars.
But none of the cars are technically to scale
same?
to each other.
Are they? Are they not?
Yeah, none
I
of them
feel
are.
like
They're like a little off. Like Lego doesn't really have a scale.
maybe
Have a
that's the whole
build.
problem.
They're very inconsistent. They don't have like Brickmania has a scale. They use blueprints. They make sure everything's 1/35th scale. So that way everything
Okay.
like it doesn't seem out of whack. The only time they switch it up is when they go trains, and trains I think they use 140 something scale. So like that's the only difference.
Interesting.
But Lego doesn't have one.
Well, they should definitely have a scale. They need to do
I
that.
They're
think
not
they have-
scaled to the wheels?
No.
Like, no? Like all the
Actually-
wheels are the same size regardless of the car?
no, they
Or
have
the
so many
truck
different
or-
wheel
You have
sizes.
so
Yeah.
many. Yeah.
Yeah.
no. I've
Right,
heard
isn't
I've
Lego-
heard Lego designers say that like we don't have there's no such thing as a minifig scale. They just build. And that's why you have such an inconsistent if this was a human to Lego size to a vehicle, it's always off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I mean, the
it is
build
what it
looks
is.
good though. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm not getting it. It looks cool. I'm not getting it. I
Hey, so
have
wait.
the original red one, but it's just like, do I need another one of that? It's the same exact thing, just a little bit bigger. The color
Yeah.
is really cool.
Mhm.
I am interested in the new electric, the real life one,
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
Very
see that?
expensive.
Yeah.
the actual one. I mean, I've
Yeah.
always wanted that, but it's like a dangerous vehicle to be driving around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a bus.
So,
I mean,
it's a hippie.
I remember when I was a kid, we used to have one, and that thing was awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, it's dope,
Mhm.
As a kid,
but
It
I don't
sounds
know.
cool.
It seems like a gas juggler.
Gas
not the
guzzler, you
electric
mean?
one.
Yeah,
Gas? Do you call it gas juggler?
yeah, I just did. Sorry,
Yeah, sometimes you
I was trying
juggle
to let that
gas.
pass, and then hopefully nobody noticed, but apparently not.
I was like,
That's
what?
Scam.
What is that?
I'm Claire. Keep
Sorry.
building Lego.
I'm just go back to my cloud jet.
She's still sharp though.
Mhm.
So so none of us are buying squat. Did anybody get anything from the Bricklink Designer program last time? I don't remember. I know we talked about it, like a gist of it. You got the castle, right, Claire?
I did me. Yeah, I got the castle
Yeah, I got
and,
the castle
and the boat.
So Lego said that there was a glitch and there were 10,000 people that ordered that. That doesn't seem.
Whoa,
That doesn't seem right. But
in like
That's
3
gonna
hours or 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Didn't it sell out in like 20 minutes?
Yeah, but they said that there was a glitch in the system, and instead of 5,000 people pre-ordering it,
they
was
accidentally
10,000
sold
people.
10,000. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you think it was 2,000 people ordering 5 of them?
Well, they also said that there was only like 2 to 6% of people bought more than 2.
Yeah. They said the percentage of people that bought more than 2.
Yeah, it wasn't
they-
that many.
Oh, okay.
There was legitimately like 10,000 people who wanted this thing, or just under. So, which goes to show you how much this program is, it's beneficial for them, but two, why Castle should be a thing.
yeah. It should.
Straight up. But they did up the other sets, and
Mhm.
they're gonna do what they're gonna be available for us to order, or have they already listed, like the boat and the safe?
I think it's in August that they're
It's in
going to
August,
relist it.
so they're gonna be
I
able to
think
release.
so.
So the other round's getting pushed back. to my
Everything
understanding.
is getting pushed back by months
Mhm.
now. Basically, they were like, so a lot of people are like, I don't know why they just don't do more. Well, it's because it's like a timing thing and it's like a timeline thing. So they're like, okay, well, we did more, and like we did more by accident. Like we sold 10,000 instead of 5,000. We have to satisfy those orders, but that means this gets pushed out by another 6 months. So it's like we're not going to see these sets in our hand for like a year.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
2022. And they also said
Yeah.
like the other 5,000 extra people who order the castle might not even get it in January. They'll be getting it in June. So how do we know?
I think
Who-
everybody's
who?
getting it in,
The
in
castle?
June, not January. Yeah, I thought everybody's getting it in June.
I thought only 5,000 people were getting it in June or January.
Why
and then
would
the
they
other five-
split it like that? That would seem like a bad idea on their part. That seems
Because
like
they only planned for 5,000, right? So now they have to make 5,000 more.
Mhm.
Yeah, but like, how would
I
they
don't know.
choose like which 5,000 people to send it to? Which, do you know what I mean? So I don't think they can make a call like that. Yeah.
We're about to
I need to
find
They
read
out.
that
can.
thing again. I don't know. It just seems very sketch to me.
Yeah, I got the boat and I'm excited about it,
Mhm.
but that's about it. The rest of the experience has been pretty lackluster.
Lackluster. I think I'm gonna get the boat this time. I think so. Maybe.
Yeah.
There are some
It
other
looks
things
cool.
that were on there that I want to, like the observatory, the
Mhm.
windmill.
Oh, the ones that aren't up yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want the windmill. I think it
Mhm.
just looked good right next to the castle stuff, and then call it a
Mhm.
day. Well, not the observatory, obviously, but I mean, I want those, but it's kind of good that kind of wait to put my money where my mouth is when those come out, because those are not even coming out till next year. So technically, that's a later shy problem.
Yeah,
Yes, it
exactly.
is.
Like, don't. That's shy after being at his new job for a few more months.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
After his first bonuses.
Yeah.
Do I get bonuses?
I
Uh-oh.
don't know.
Gotta do some research.
I gotta do some research. I should ask my wife. She works. But aside from that, how's everyone else doing? Lego aside.
Good.
Good.
How was New York?
It was great. When
food.
New York is the best, like for that.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. Like we actually went out to lunch today and it was like incredibly disappointing. And I was like, that was stupid. I shouldn't have done that the day after I got back. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But no, the food was incredible. And I saw some of my friends from college and that was the best part. And then, yeah, no, look, New York is so full of life, but it's a lot. It's definitely like, I've been thinking about moving there and it's just like, it's a hard life there, it's like hard to get around. It's like hard to carry anything, like just like buying a Lego set, and like lugging it back to wherever you live. It's like, it's a whole thing.
Don't
Mhm.
people do a lot more walking out there?
Yeah. So like when every day that I'm there, I usually walk over 20 miles.
Nice.
Whoa.
Just in the day, because it's like I'm not working, right? So, or like, I'm not there to work, I'm there to like, explore. And so, but like, even
Mhm.
if I wasn't, like, I'd probably still be walking like 4 miles at least a day.
Get some nice walking shoes. Not
Yo, I need
Yeah,
to
right.
up my walking game.
No,
Mhm.
you just like burn through shoes, like you burn through like sandals, and it's like hot, and so you just like destroy your feet like over the course of like a few days. And yeah, it was we did a workout class like outside, like a soul cycle spinning class, and it was on the rooftop of this like skyscraper, so it was like really cool.
oh,
But it was like in the 90s, and it was like
Mm.
still like 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and it was so humid. I thought I was gonna die. Like I couldn't even enjoy like where I was because I was just trying to survive. Like I sweat through all my clothes, 3 towels. It looked like I peed my pants, like, or I dove into a pool and was like walking out. I mean, everybody around me was.
Mhm.
Anyway, so that's my time. In case you wanted to know on this Lego podcast how much I was sweating.
It was
Sounds
hot last
dramatic.
week. I think California's back on fire, right?
I think so.
Is
I
it
think there's
back on
some fires
fire?
going on. There are some fires going on right now, all up the West Coast,
Yeah,
not
it
just
feels
Cali,
like it.
going north too. So fire season. Yay, Cali.
Mhm.
Jamay doesn't have to worry about this anymore.
Not anymore. I
Not
moved
anymore.
away.
Nope.
I was there at school. I remember being there with a mask on. Throw back to like right now, and I was like,
Yeah.
"This is weird. This stinks." Take me back to the snow, I guess. I don't know. The fires are scary. The snow
What-
is fine. Fires are
what's snow?
terrifying. Snow?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you live in the hills,
It's
the
like
fire.
rain.
No, I'm just kidding. Rain, but cold,
Fortunately,
huh?
I'm in a neighborhood where the mountains are a little further away, so I'll be all right. I'm not worried about the fires. The only thing it does is impede my traffic and make my quality of air even worse than it already is. Because now that everyone's going back to normal, the air quality is starting to be like crap because everybody's driving again.
We're all gonna get asthma.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Check it. I went to a restaurant here called Otium, and it's like one of those like really high-end chef famous restaurants that I've never had before. And oh my god.
Was it good?
Yeah, because the past 5 days since every food I've eaten has been crap.
Mm.
Dang, they set the bar that high, huh?
It like literally blew my mind away.
Nice.
I mean, we
Wow.
spent like over $1.50, but I mean, like, still though,
Whoa.
Oh my god.
it's one of those
God.
restaurants where there's only like a server will only get like 2 tables the entire night.
Yeah.
It's only open from like dinner. That's all. The only time.
Yeah, it says one seating.
One seating. Yeah, but it was amazing. So anyone out there coming to LA and wants to spend a lot of money, go to downtown LA to Otium. I definitely recommend it. Everything on the menu is legit. I know it sounds like a lot of stuff it's a little stuff on the menu would be like, I don't know. This sounds weird. I don't know what that is. And they're like, shut up, just eat it. I'm like, okay.
Sounds questionable.
How did you guys do you guys just like want to go there? Was it like first?
No, it was my wife's best friend. She wanted to go there for her birthday, so we went. And her dude is he owns a cheese company, and one of his clients is Trader Joe's. So you can kind of see how up there in money he has. So he was like, "Hey, let's go over here." We're like, okay, sure. So yeah, we went to town on the menu, and it was an experience that I'm so sad that it's so over.
You're like crashing this week. Oh my god.
Look it up. If you're ever in the area, I mean, you don't have to break the bank when you go there, but I recommend anything on the menu. So I had the meal of my life. I just wanted to share that this past week.
just for clarification, is it
OTM? OTIUM.
Okay. For those of you out there that caught that.
Yeah, check it out. Go on Yelp. Look at it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. And I finally saw my replacement who replaced me at the Lego store. And I was
how was that?
Extremely disappointed. And I'm like, you guys replaced me for this fool?
Oh gosh.
Homeboy hasn't even acknowledged me my entire time here, let alone my son who's been standing right in front of him.
Dang.
Look at him. And I'm like, what?
Thanks.
And like none of the employees are interacting with the customers. I'm like, is this a COVID thing? I hope it's a COVID thing, like where they're not trying to talk to you.
Yeah, it's new protocol.
I hope so, because like I passed by him like 3 times. He didn't say anything to me. And I know he doesn't know who I am. And then my son, like literally, like we were looking at a dinosaur set and we couldn't decide between the two, and he was just standing there. And I'm like, oh my God.
What if they have your picture in the back and they're like, don't approach this man?
There was a picture of me
blacklisted.
In the back. But still, though, I mean, you wouldn't acknowledge my kid.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That's weird.
So I'm
that's
like,
super weird.
Yeah.
But then I'm looking around all the rest of the employees. I'm like, maybe this is a COVID thing because no one's really going out of their way to.
That could just be that store. I don't know. It's been different at every single store, and also like the Pabwall rules are different at every single store. So I don't know who's the driver.
So wait, so when you go to your Lego stores, because you guys have been in more than I have lately, do brick specialists approach you?
Depends which one.
Do they come up to you and say, hey, what brings you in the store today?
Yeah, it depends which one.
Usually, for me, there's usually like a line to get in. So like you have to get greeted once you get in, you know, like they're like, oh, welcome in. Like you can come in and they tell you, they're like, oh, what are you looking for? You know, basic stuff like that.
Who's buying a set today?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I got
like the San Francisco store, they're super chatty. Same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those are the good stores.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but greeting's not like a must, but it's definitely encouraged just because it's kind of impossible to say hi to everybody who walks in. Yeah. So they're supposed to make it up by interacting with you.
Yeah, that's kind of weird that they didn't interact with you at all. Because like even like we got greeted, and I'm super reclusive, so I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm finding my own stuff. Thank you.
Like, thank you.
And I'll walk away 6 feet.
Yeah.
But not for them to not say anything to you, it's just unacceptable.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was just like really disappointed. I was telling my wife about it. I'm like, hey, I saw the guy who replaced me as a store manager, and I'm like. Like really?
But are you sure he's your replacement, or there were like it's been a while now? There were probably a couple replacements.
There weren't. I've spoken to.
Okay, it's just that person.
Supervisors underneath me. They were like, "Yeah, this guy came to replace you." To be fair, he's been working for the company for a very long time. I'm like, and then I was just like expecting so much more than what I experienced. I was just like highly disappointed.
I mean, in all fairness, did you expect them to be better than you were? Because you were pretty top notch.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I mean, yeah, because technically his position before working there was higher until he left and then he came back.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I mean, they replaced me with that dude.
Mhm. Also, just sounds like he's not a great salesman if he's not going to approach customers who are clearly browsing.
Hmm.
I don't know. That seems weird.
I don't know if you're trying to make no. I don't. Is the store just complacent because Lego's been making so much that they don't need to interact? But then that kind of diminishes the whole customer service thing that they're famous for.
Mhm.
I don't know. I was just saying that I was just really disappointed and my heart broke. I was just like,
Oh.
man, it hit a sore spot with me because I left the store on such a good note. Well, not really, but like I left it functioning customer service wise, like properly how it's supposed to be done. Our numbers are doing great. And then I'm like looking at them now and I'm like, no one's talking to anybody. They're just
so it's like
restocking the floor. And that's pretty much it. Or ringing
like
people up.
all that work you put in is just down
Man,
the drain.
just gone. Well, I knew a
Yeah,
lot of the
that
things I
sucks.
did for them were immediately taken down. Like I had a photo of each one of them on the wall, and then I know those were all taken down. I made like where those yellow aprons.
Mhm.
So I gave them before when I got there. They were like all in like this 1 or 2 like hooks, and you have to go through and find them. So what I did is I personalized them along the hallway, where each one gets each associate or an employee gets their own hook with to make their own, and then I made like a little brick built badge with a sig fig on top that they can switch out, and I put their name on it so that way they have a legitimate spot.
That's
Do you
fresh.
have that kind of
Where-
freedom? Like, I mean, is that the role of the manager? Sorry, not to question it, but it's just like I would imagine that they want consistency between all stores, or is it up to the manager to create that kind of customization?
There's no rule against it.
Got it.
It's simply just taking care of your creating a good vibe within your staff.
Right.
Right.
There's no limitations to like what you do
Got it.
organization wise. I mean, there are rules to like where this needs to be, where that needs to be, like your
Yeah, like where
you
like
know.
it goes on the floor and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah, the
But, like,
back
behind-
though, there's
yeah.
the behind the scenes. It's so inconsistent because all the floor plans in every store are different. That there
Mhm.
isn't a this
This
has
is
to be
the
done this way, but there are
layout.
best
Yeah.
practices. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And they always wanted us to like innovate and things like that as far as what you do for your staff. And
Mhm.
Lego does well with taking care of their employees, and that's one of the things that I kind of put my touch on with stuff like that. It wasn't
Right,
just
got it.
that, it was just stuff like that. But I'm just saying that like when I left or when they kicked me out for God knows what, they took all that down immediately. Like they immediately erased everything I did for them back there, which was interesting. So that's how I
That's
knew
fair
like
too.
that was going on, and who was taking over for me is because previous employees like, yeah, they took down all the hooks, so we have to go back to going behind the door and looking for everything. We had to like, they took down the contest that you were doing. We stopped doing the contests. So I'm like, oh, okay.
That's so
That
weird.
sucks.
Like, why would you take down
Reset
the
button.
hooks? Such a small
Right.
thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it was in the way.
We don't need all these hooks. I don't
Well,
get it.
okay, so their process was before I got there, like they would when they get like shipment in, they would put it all in the hallway. To me, that's a
Mhm.
fire hazard. But
Oh,
they would
yeah.
put it on the hallway and then decide, then look at what sets they were, and then organize it by throwing onto the floor or throwing into the back stock.
Mhm.
I found that to be a complete waste of time because you're touching the box twice or 3 times. I found it easier since the back stock's right next to the hallway, just to throw everything in the back and then get the stuff, like unbox everything, put everything in the shelving and grab what you need to the front. That way you only touch each box like no more than twice. Like everything's only being touched once as
Mhm.
opposed to 2 or 3
Mhm.
times. I guess they didn't like that, or like my superiors didn't like that, and they want it on the hallway. So I'm assuming that's the reason why they took out the hooks.
Dang. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Whatever. No,
Dang. That's like
I just wanted to talk
yeah.
crap about my old store. I still love the people there, though.
all
But I
good.
mean, just saying, I am comfortable walking in there now. I don't care anymore.
That's good.
Baby
No.
steps.
Baby
Mhm.
steps, I guess. Whatever. Anyways,
Baby steps are a major topic.
anyways.
Baby,
So
baby steps.
Jamay has started a YouTube channel because she comes
Yeah.
from the Instagram world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a completely different platform, and
Oh,
I would say almost a different community.
Mhm.
And only recently it's starting to kind of merge, which is a good thing. And do you want to talk about that a little bit, about what you're also a part of too, before we get into
Sure.
it? Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I mostly liked Instagram for creating content for myself, because it was like I didn't need to look at myself. I think for like an introvert like me, being on camera is not my forte, and it's not where I'm most comfortable. But I think there was a point where I had to decide whether or not to show my face, which I think everybody kind of deals with. And I was a little reluctant with my gender, with my identity, and just kind of being like, I hope this is cool. I hope people don't say stuff. Because I was catching up on this podcast today, and I was watching the episode with Cece where you're talking about women in Lego. And I was relating a lot to that sort of stuff of like, you know, people say stuff and it's on the internet, so people feel like they can and they feel like entitled and whatever. So I made a conscious decision to like show my face and be like, I'm just going to be here. Like, this is what I want to do. That's fine. And then I've always watched YouTube, and I watched Lego YouTube, and it helped me like get back into the community after I had my dark ages. And then I kind of participated more in chats and like decided that I wanted to do my own thing that was beyond what I could do on Instagram. Like Instagram doesn't do great lives, in my opinion. The interface is really tough. I don't like doing it on my phone. I'd rather do it on the computer. But Instagram did bring me to Tips and Bricks, which is like a LAN or like part of the Lego Ambassador Network. And it's a RLFM, all these acronyms that mean just that Lego sends us stuff and we get to review it and we get to share news and give our opinions. And it's really fun. And we've kind of taken a deep dive into talking about diversity in the Lego community and like why people should care. Because I think bringing up things that make people feel uncomfortable or make people feel called out for behaviors, I think, especially on the internet, garners like a really big reaction. And so what we've tried to do is create like a good safe place and a good supportive place for people to share their opinions and like have conversations, and then hopefully learn something. Like we highlight people we did a Black History Month like post about the history of the Black minifigure and talking about like Lando, and then talking about yellow minifigures, and something I also want to talk on my channel. So last week I did a stream talking about the Shang-Chi set and building it, and how I related to it as an Asian American, as a like half Asian, half Caucasian American specifically, which is kind of what Shang-Chi's identity is as well. So it's kind of like the criticism about that set and those minifigures has felt very personal to me, and watching people talk about it on YouTube so openly has been very encouraging. So I was like, I feel comfortable to have this and be vulnerable with my own experiences and come on the internet and say like, oh, this has happened to me, blah, blah, blah. And I think it was pretty well received, at least from my circle of people that I know, which on YouTube is, pretty small. But on Instagram, I think people feel more comfortable like chatting and reacting to things quickly, right? Than necessarily.
Like the time is like a bit faster on there. But it's interesting because like with Lego, I think like not to get into like the grander scheme of like race and whatnot and like, identity with it just yet. It's like there's also this like level of accuracy that a lot of reviewers will also do. They'll like quite literally compare the actor to the minifigure. And if it's like hard to avoid that. You know what I mean? It's hard to avoid the conversation of race when if that's like also your niche, do you know, which I feel like a lot of people do that when they do their Lego reviews as well. So it's like it's people can either skirt it in that sense or talk about it comfortably. And I think a lot of people don't know how to talk about it comfortably, like safely, unless they are that identity or that race that's being, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I kind of feel that, because if they're not part of that race, could they really I don't know, what am I looking for?
You could just be like, this doesn't look like that. This doesn't look like the person. Like this, it's like I'm not colorblind. Like this looks like, you know what I mean? Like it's not right. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, I think what people who criticize the discourse and the rhetoric around talking about race have problems with is that they feel like people are taking it personally and they're getting offended, right? Like choosing to be offended by something. And so I think if if I'm talking about a Black minifigure, I can talk about how inaccurate or offensive it might be without having to have that identity, because I just recognize that as a fact. But I think some people might dismiss that because that's not my own identity.
Got it.
Okay.
But that's just my thought. I don't know if that's true, but
that's like on the grander scheme of things. Like you can't expect the community that's like being either, objectified, assumed for, or you know what I mean? Like you can't always expect that community to speak for themselves. And like,
right.
I think the bigger issue is like, no matter what the situation is, if you see something that's kind of inaccurate and maybe wrong, I think sitting and being silent about it is like probably a bigger issue.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Like that's the one thing I hate about woke culture is that you just can't say anything or it's gonna get canceled. And that kind of plays into like the whole color thing. Because you're not of that color doesn't mean you can't say something. So yeah, thanks for saying that.
So that takes my thought all the way out. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, there's a tactful way of saying stuff. Obviously, if you're just being belligerent about what you're viewing, then obviously it becomes disrespectful. But I mean, if you're legitimately making an observation and criticism, a valid criticism, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, why would, like, if someone made a Will Smith's figure white, I'm like, Will Smith's not white. Like, let's embrace the fact that he is a person of color. There's nothing wrong with that. By streamlining it, whereas everyone, I know, I get it. Everybody should be the same. We're all equal, blah, 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 blah. But to completely disregard what makes people different is also a bad thing.
Well, we're not equal. That's the thing. And like, we never have been treated equally. No one has. And like pretending like we have, I think is like a bigger issue. And it's like, identify that everybody has their own experiences, their own prejudice, their own, like they're bringing something different to the table. Everybody is good and bad, whatever it is. And it's like, just don't pretend like it doesn't exist. That's like very much like a, I don't know how to like, now what I'm going to say is probably culturally offensive too, but it's like it's a very typical behavior of the country that we live in, since we're all Americans.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree too. And I do think that there's like an aspect of it of like, a lot of the things that we post about on Tips and Bricks, we post about the Everyone is Awesome set, we post about Pride Month, and it gets a lot of backlash because it's got a large following. And there are people who follow it specifically to look for tips and bricks, and that's fine. And they're like, you shouldn't be doing this. Or like, can you please go back to, and they say it not as nicely as that. And, like, what do you have to say about this? Like, well, it's the whole thing.
It's because of, sorry, Ninja, but
I was just thinking, it's so crazy. Like, why can't they just keep scrolling if it bugs them?
Well, because they feel like these platforms and like the creators, let's say of Tips and Bricks, like owe them something. Like they're doing them a service. They feel like they're in the service industry, and these people are, they probably have a curated Instagram so that it's like doesn't have anything political or in any way, shape, or form, that it's totally just toys. And so they've intentionally like separated themselves from like any other media source that they come from, and that's the space that they want. And like I respect that to a very small degree, because I understand, I get escapism, and I think it is important, but then like expecting everyone else to be right there with you and expecting that everyone should be conformed and have the same mentality that you do is fundamentally the issue that's being addressed. And you're just perpetuating the problem, and you're proving that you're the problem that this exists. It's like you're literally your own self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. And I think part of it too is like, I don't know. I just lost my train of thought. I totally had like two stemming ones, but
sorry.
No.
I got on my soapbox. That happens. I'll just get
No. I was right there with you.
No,
I'll come back to it.
What were the keywords in your thought?
Woke politics. That's it. That's all I had.
Culture.
We're not talking about critical race theory here. It's like that's not what's happening. Or it's like how we need to change like the entire set up education system. It's just being like, it's like it's literally just like scratching the surface. Like you guys aren't getting like that deep. I'm sorry. Like it's really important what you guys are doing, but it's not like anyway. It's fine.
It's not groundbreaking. It's not. It's just no. It's
They're not
just
trying to
spreading
push
information.
views on anything. They're just
Yeah.
sharing a set that Lego came out with. I mean, what's
Right.
wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
And some information with that set. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
what's-
And some opinions from like somebody who like thinks about it critically, you know, like
Exactly, yeah.
somebody who
Yeah.
cares.
Mhm.
What I was going to say is that the people, oh my God, I totally just lost it again.
Oh no.
I'm so sorry, guys.
It's nighttime. It's nighttime.
It is nighttime. My
Yeah,
brain's
you
shutting
just had
down.
a hard day at work,
You've worked a full day.
with full day,
Yeah,
stressed
it was
out.
really tough too.
So you
Oh
know
my
you're
God.
exhausted. It's okay. See, I had a full
Yeah.
day too, but I was working from home.
I was out in the
difference.
field today for like the first time.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm like,
Oh my
Like,
god, that's probably
profoundly
like sensory
changed.
overload.
oh my God. Oh my God. It was like active construction site too. I was
Mhm.
like, should I wear my mask? I don't know.
I never
Nothing.
thought I'd be in a spot where I have to count my steps or ensure I get my steps in for the day. I'm literally, that's where I'm at right now.
Because like when you were in retail, you were always like on
I was
your
always
feet,
walking.
right?
And then when I was in the post office, I was really walking.
Really? Well, yeah.
And now I am not walking. So like
Zero
my
walking.
body is like flipping out.
You actually have to like figure out how to schedule workouts into your life.
Not only getting back into that,
Mhm.
but like
Changing your eating habits.
my diet.
You can't go to Odium.
No, hey, I completely forgot about it until you just
Oh,
said it
no.
right now. Now
That was probably like
completely forgetting
10,000
my life.
calories consumed.
It's a good thing they paid us
Healthy
for this
calories, but it was still
advertisement.
good. It was still delicious.
Yeah.
The latte, I had a latte at the end of that meal, and it made me cry.
Oh,
Damn.
That's so good. No, that's the
That's so
kind of
good.
like stuff.
That's
Like when you
amazing.
eat out, it should be like something like that, you know, right?
Yeah, it was an experience. I mean, the waitress got some serious tip money.
You should have called the chef. Like, yo, who
Okay.
made this latte? Who made
It was
this?
the bartender. The bartender made the latte.
wow.
I love you.
Yeah. anyways, we digress.
Anyways.
So were you able to figure it out?
I think so. I think what I was going to say is that when people talk about escapism, which Claire was like, I appreciate, and I also appreciate escapism, but what I will point out is just that there are some things you can't escape from no matter what. And I think the people who don't have the aspects of their identity, like the way that you look and the way that people judge you for the way that you look, or have, you know, prejudice for the way that you look, whether that's positive or negative, that sort of stuff is inescapable. Like as soon as you decide to present yourself on the internet. So like me deciding to present myself as an Asian American and also like queer, you know, like people are going to make all sorts of assumptions about what that means about me.
Mhm.
And so, you know, I just want to live my authentic life online, and I think I should be able to, but there are always going to be people that will assume things about me. And the
Mhm.
people who say like, this is my escape, I'm like, there are certain things that I can't escape, or certain
Yeah.
things other people can't escape. And so it's
That's
just,
true.
I was just going to echo that thought, and we're, you know, 5 minutes out. So just
Is it-
wrapping that one up.
Is there like a fine line between escapism and ignorance
Or denial,
or
Right.
denial? Yeah. there
or
you go.
like, you know, not to keep throwing out hot words, but gaslighting, and just minimizing issues. Yeah, there's definitely a fine line, and the internet makes it so blurry
right.
because you have no idea what anybody's coming from.
Exactly. You can't see
Yeah.
the emotion behind the text. Like they could just be literally pointing out a point with
No.
no
Yeah.
malice intent, and then you
Mhm.
take it for something that has completely affected the rest of your day.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
seeing the line of ignorance and sorry, what was the other word? I just forgot it.
Oh my
I
God.
forgot what else.
Either way, you
No.
know what I'm getting at. That fine line is like not there.
Mhm.
Like,
Escapism.
you can easily
Escapism.
cross over both sides based on interpretation of the
Mhm.
reader, and
Yeah.
that can go into really bad ways. But the good thing for us, though, we can articulate it with emotion because we're talking to each other live. So,
Right.
unfortunately, people who write comments, you sometimes just have to read it like a bunch of times if you don't want your words to be
Yeah.
purveyed in a different way.
hmm
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the Shang-Chi set, right?
Yes.
So let's get into that for a little bit. So there is some controversy over the nougat color of the
Yes.
minifigures, right?
Mhm.
Now, as a Chinese American, right? I guess that's fair to say. Can you go over how you feel about that you mentioned,
Mhm.
what you mentioned on your last stream?
Yeah, I think so. For me, I felt like not only was they used the light nougat, which I think could potentially work, but the fact that they reused faces from only Caucasian actors in, I think it's DC, Marvel, Harry Potter, like all the other IPs that you would use. They used Caucasian male faces. That's like Draco Malfoy and like Draco Malfoy's dad. And, speaking to the accuracy thing that like people do on Instagram with minifigures, like people do customs and they do amazing things with like purist Lego pieces and things. And that's not the way that most of those people would have taken currently produced Lego pieces and made a Shang-Chi minifigure. And I think that's like universally understood. For me, I also think it's the skin tone of like the nougat. Like it's twofold of like the faces used were not in likeness with the actors. And I think it should have been in a new skin tone. And what's disappointing about it mostly is just that this was the perfect opportunity to have introduced new, like
a new
skin toned. Yes. Yeah. For I think it would be like 3 new male characters and like 2 new female characters, because the only ones we have, I can count on like one hand. And that's disappointing. Like, when else are you going to have a fully Asian cast in a movie in an IP as big as Marvel? This is been the first one.
It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me because their new focus for like the last, I think, like 3 years, right, has been the Asian market, particularly the Asian market in Asia, not like the Asian American or like, Asian European market. But like, so what is that? Like, I don't know how many billions of people are over there that they can target, it doesn't make any sense that,
why they want to waste the budget on that.
Yeah. Like, I haven't, and I know I haven't like really in depth looked at the figures that come in like the Chinese New Year sets, but then that's also saying that like everybody who lives, in that relatively general continent is one skin tone, which is absolutely not true at all. And, there's skin tones as fair as mine, as like fair as snow, and then there's like there's like the entire gambit in that, multi-billion dollar, but multi-billion populated, community. And so like, that's the part that doesn't make sense. It's not like, oh yeah, this is a Marvel movie. Oh yeah, like, like this is a great time. Like these sets are going to sell. Like, I don't have that kind of knowledge, or like, I don't know if that's the truth, but I do know that they are intentionally trying to market to that community, and they're not.
So pretty much what we're saying is that Lego didn't have an excuse for this one.
I
they
think
should have taken advantage of the fact that they are marketing towards an Asian audience, and especially China, talking about the culture somewhat, and then somewhat, and like
well, if you look at like,
I don't know the story too well.
Not really. No, I kind of retracted what I said right there as I said it.
I have a dumb question. So like the brown colors that they make in like other bricks, like the light tan, reddish brown, nougat, light nougat, are those all made in minifig heads?
No.
Most of the ones you just said, though, yes. But like tan, no, I don't think so.
So I was going to say, like, look, maybe I don't know enough about material engineering, and I don't know, maybe there's something with the pigment and something with the browns and the brittle, because, a lot of dark reddish brown is really bad and it's really brittle and they haven't figured it out, even though something like a minifigure head is like, it's circular, but it's also like got, I don't know, maybe it's like a different, the way that it's manufactured is different, but like they make bricks, they make like tan and light tan, dark tan, why can't, like there's 2 right there that they already make those colors. There's not even new colors that they have to create.
Actually, I think they do have like a light tan one. It came in the Las Vegas architecture.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh, but it has no face, right? It's not like
it's one of the faces.
Lego can make the color. They can put prints on pretty much any color, whether it's real or not. They could technically at least attempt to do that, and they probably have.
Right. They still make brown.
It does come to like, are they going to use it again? Because obviously there's a budget, and they want to save where they can save. Here in this set specifically, there was an opportunity to take advantage of marketing, not only like to the Asian market, but like to fully embrace a new or expanding your inventory of color and faces, because there's a lackluster of the types of faces you can have with the colors of skin tone.
That's why I had to stick with yellow.
I wouldn't put it entirely on Lego's fault. It's they use the introduction of the skin tone when it came with licensed sets with movies and stuff like that, and that could the contribution from the movie companies probably had a big role in that, like for Star Wars wanting skin tones
and Harry Potter and stuff. I mean, I guess the first round Harry Potter was yellow.
Same thing with Star Wars.
Everything
was yellow.
Except they made Lando
black,
reddish brown, because they were like, this is incorrect. Like, I think they've been thinking about it, but I don't think, like, I think this time around they weighed money versus convenience for them, right? Like reusing heads is convenient for them, and making a new print or, taking a part of the parts budget that we so famously hear about, like, maybe wasn't worth it for them. And I think what they've probably realized from now, and there's actually been a few like statements from Lego through LAN. I don't know if I'm allowed to share them exactly, but they've basically been like, we're listening, like, we hear you.
I think someone wrote it in a blog. Someone shared that in a blog.
It's so like but they didn't post it on Twitter, so it's hard to know like exactly what is meant to be said. And I kind of wish they would be more public about it. Because they
were just trying not to ignite a fire that they didn't believe that was noticed about like the entire fandom.
Yeah,
like,
but it has.
Isolated. Yeah.
I mean, yesterday they posted that movie poster. It was Monday, and I commented on it, and I was like, "This is exactly what I was talking about. Like this, all the marketing material has been corrected to be much closer to like
clearly they know
like to what it should have been." And I, commented something and was like, "Hey, are you going to do something corrective? Like I've noticed even on the box art, you've like kind of photoshopped it to make him look darker, kind of like more tan and kind of like what you would assume." And I think even like Ash and Flash in his review like talked about that. He's like, "This box art looks weird. Like this is weird. Like this is just strange.
Doesn't match."
And again, I don't think he's Asian American. Like I was glad that he said that. And then, I got a ton of weird comments on it, of course, but I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I want to say is like, this isn't cool to me. Like, this isn't like, it's so wrong on like a couple levels. Like, it's not just offensive. It's lazy, I think. And I don't know. It's just.
So can we finally say that yellow isn't everybody, as everybody so famously puts it?
It's just me.
Because
just Ninja.
A lot of people like to say that they use yellow to incorporate every skin tone because nobody's yellow, right? But when they introduced Lando, he is of a darker skin tone.
Claire, you're muted.
And everybody else is yellow. So
I said they should have used green if like that was or something, or like
I think if they just when they released Lando and everyone else was their own pigment color, I think that would have been totally accepted. But to look at it back now, because right now I'm looking at a photo of the 20th anniversary sets with Darth Vader, Han, Luke, Leia, and Lando, and then they're all yellow except for Lando. Yeah. So obviously they've made a statement there.
Wasn't Darth Vader white also?
Yeah, I mean,
like his face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker.
I know, but no, like Darth Vader was like pale white.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
his head, yeah.
His head's pale white.
Yeah.
So
because they painted his face in the movie and he looked really sick.
So obviously. So I did a video on this, and I don't know if I'll ever release it, but it had to do with the whole skin tone thing. And one of my biggest arguments was the Star Wars figs, and I never released it. And a part of me was just because I just didn't want to get into it, people. That was mainly the reason. And for me myself, luckily, like no one really acknowledges it, which is fine. I don't really care. But yes, I am a person of color. I am half Filipino, half black. My dad's black. My mom's Filipino. I know I don't look black at all, which is a whole different topic on its own that I've never really felt accepted by any community of my people, because I'm too American from my Filipino side, and I don't look black with my black side. So cultural identity as a child was very, very difficult. And not only that, I was raised in a Mexican neighborhood. So it was just really off. And now my kids are really jacked up because they're like half Mexican, quarter Filipino, quarter black, and then we both have Spanish blood. So they're literally a child of the world at this point.
They're American.
Yeah, they're American properly. That's why I love saying that. Like, hey, what are you? I'm like, I'm American.
American.
Yeah.
My dad
No, you know what I mean. I'm like, no, I don't know what you mean.
No, I don't. Say it.
What's your race?
What are you trying to say here?
Yeah.
I just love it. People off
want to say.
It's just really funny. Yeah. But for me, like making I segued to this already, so I'll just get into it. Making a minifigure like properly without using yellow is like near impossible.
Yep.
Like
you're totally limited. You're limited on faces and.
Plus, I have facial hair, so that also makes it even worse.
You could use the Wong head, actually.
Yeah,
it's like one of the only ones that has facial hair.
Only one.
Yeah.
So so we're people of color. If they want to make themselves not yellow, it's very hard to choose of the limited inventory that's already out there. So if you're a person of a darker skin complexion, it's like you're left with 4 heads. If you're male or female, and then half of them are like a face that you would never do.
Yeah. So I don't know.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know if you guys, Women's Brick Initiative is on Facebook, and they're like, I think they're an R-Lug technically, so they're recognized by Lego, and they do a lot of statistical data research into mostly women, obviously, but people of color, like availability of heads, and they've done graphs and charts that are like so, like make it so clear the discrepancies between like yellow and Caucasian heads are kind of the majority, and then it kind of peters out as you get darker and darker. And then also they look at the expressions, because everything kind of comes from Star Wars, like where there's battles, right? So they kind of have angry faces, but it's also kind of plays into the stereotype of like the angry Black woman, and like all sorts of kind of harmful tropes that just get perpetuated by these being the only like heads that are available for people. So like in Cece's video, and she's talking about making her sig fig, like she had to do it digitally, right? Like she couldn't have a physical one with especially with the torso printing and the colors that they choose.
Yeah. The torso is very that's another part. The torso that's also very important, because arms and hands also come into that play, and it's very hard to find a torso that if you have like dual molding or something like that, it's kind of hard to kind of play on a skin color. Thanks for bringing that up. I was actually about to mention that.
I have an interesting idea. I don't know if you guys have seen these crayons right here.
Yeah. Oh.
Colors of the World. It's all the skin tone colors. So like, what if Lego did like an Everyone is Awesome 2 set, but with all the skin tones? Like everyone is still awesome type thing.
No, I'm the sole believer that Lego should just stop using yellow. Like, cause it's really, I want my kids to know that we're different and it's okay. Like it's saying that we're all the same. It's kind of going backwards, because now you're just forgetting your past and what happened. Right. Like you should embrace what happened in with your ancestors. Appreciate the fact that you don't have that now, and the world is changing, and just run with it. So
we can't change the past, but we can mold the future.
Exactly. So like, my kids have 3 different cultures right now, or 4 that they're going to be dealing with: Filipino, Mexican. Mexican, and then the Black side. By the way, our thing when I was a kid, Thanksgiving was amazing. Just saying, just go get Filipino food, and then go get soul food, like Southern soul food.
Yes.
Then traditional American food, and I mean, it's
I can't wait till this Thanksgiving. It's going to be an actual Thanksgiving this year.
I know, right? Oh, dude, I'm excited. Where was I going with this? I totally forgot. I'm thinking about food. As you can tell, I'm hungry.
Yeah, right.
I want to eat. I want to get rid of yellow. Yeah, I know. I was going to say that.
I'll be the last one.
Oh, I forgot where that was going. Yeah.
I also think, as like an Asian American, when I look at the Chinese New Year sets and I see they're all yellow minifigures, there's something about it that doesn't quite sit well with me. Just the fact that there's like the yellow stereotype, like especially in America. I don't know about the rest of the world, but I think I get so excited seeing like, learning about, seeing calligraphy and like learning about my own heritage because I'm mixed race. I'm so detached from it on both ends. Like I don't speak Mandarin. I didn't grow up like going to, the Sunday school with the rest of the Chinese kids. Like I was like so Americanized that I was a little bit rejected by, both ends of it.
High five.
Yeah. This way. That
Other
way.
way.
There it is. There it is.
I was like, darn it. But so seeing the Chinese New Year sets, like, you're really excited because I'm like, oh, this is like celebrating all the different years in the zodiac, and like that's so cool. But then I see the yellow minifigures, and I'm like, this feels a little weird. Like this
I'm
feels.
so happy someone else said that.
Like,
I always kept that to myself. I never made it public.
I have too shy. Like I was like, I'm glad it exists because I want it to be like the culture, but like I don't know. Maybe like the Danish company that created this like didn't know like the history of like yellow people in America and like how that's like such a painful history.
I don't think they fully understand how kind of, I won't say behind we are still in the United States with color, because we're getting there, but there's still a lot of prejudices that we have to kind of deal with.
I think we're pretty far ahead. Unfortunately, we're not like the rest of the world isn't doing any better. Like I don't think it's like it's not.
Oh,
like,
I mean, yeah, there's still a lot of places.
I don't think it's like in America we're doing bad. I think it's like a global issue.
I feel like they could have done a little bit of research though.
Yeah, they definitely could have. I think it was probably like they have like their, Ninjago and Monkey Kid are like great sets. There's like a ton of cultural appropriation in them, and you can like break them down and like, we love them. Jamay, you and I are like both huge fans. But if you really want to, start picking at it, it's actually pretty easy to do. But those came, those have the white or the yellow heads or the yellow figs. And then I think it was just like, I don't even know. Maybe they thought about it. I have no idea. I don't know if it was a malicious thing. I think it's like just lack of awareness most of the time. They are. So the Lego group, interestingly enough, they definitely have like a big, push for diversity, especially like in the recent years. I know that they did hire like a lot of people to like, help them, navigate through the future essentially and like where it's going. And for example, like any of their job postings and stuff, like their jargon at the bottom of every single one, that's like saying, blah, blah, we're an affirmative action company. And the things that they don't discriminate against are more extensive than most companies on a global scale. So it's interesting that there's like, I saw that and I was like a little bit impressed by the word choice that they put there. And I don't know if that's like a recent thing or, I mean, like you also have to, with everything that's been going on in the world and like the visibility that people have now and the awareness, theoretically, the conversations that are being had, let's give them the time to fix it. But then let's see how like they respond, if they don't in a couple years, because like these things, what are the lifetimes of these projects? Like when do they start and when they end? It's
3 years on average.
Yeah.
Oh,
Long time.
Yeah.
I think that will be really telling.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
plus, like Jamay said, like they're listening. So,
they say,
quote,
I think they are, but it's also about execution. Like you can listen all you want, but you need to learn to and adapt and take the feedback and put your money where your mouth is. I feel like that's just like I
just think they just need to do a full jump right into it, like to stop with the yellow. That's the only way you're going to satisfy. Because if you're going to wait until another movie comes out with a person of color, and that's your only excuse to be able to project the color of that, which in this latest set they missed, it's going to take them forever to be able to fill the rainbow.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. I want to be hopeful about it. You know what I mean? And I want to think positively on it because it's like, it's like, hopefully there will be more movies that come out. You know what I mean? Hopefully, hopefully that industry is.
You can look at it right now, though. Just a year from now, how many blockbuster movies are of people of color?
Yeah,
I mean, like there's a lot of companies making pretty aggressive moves to change that.
Well, I mean, if they could just do a theme that's not based on that, like I don't know, city, and just turn them all into skin colors.
Yeah,
so that way people can legitimately, choose the like. There's just going to be more inventory out there.
But how do you do that? But like, how do you execute that? Like, to be fair, like, how do you do that? Do you do like
just
people packs?
And there's no minifigures in like any of the city sets.
No. Like just the new lines coming out. You have people packs with real skin colors.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
yellow.
but like, okay, let's say you want to sell a boat, like, then you have to minifigs in it to
Yeah.
sell it.
Then
What
put
color
real
are the
clothes in
minifigs?
there.
What?
Just put people of color in there.
Just
Especially
pick
on.
random.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a specific look.
Okay.
Plus-
just randomize
Yeah,
it all
just
the
random.
time.
Just random. Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything. But it'll be also cool to see, like, you know, we didn't mention it with Flynn. I know we wanted to. Those, but like, you know, like the gay community, like there as well.
Actually, speaking about that, I seen Doc Sampson in
Yeah,
a
I saw
video
that.
that they actually had like a couple. I
The
think it
couple,
was-
yeah. I saw that. I don't know if he was kind of pushing it, but that was actually pretty cool though.
Which
I mean, he
set?
broke it down. It was like one of the camping people packs.
The camping people pack. Or
Oh.
two is it 2 men or 2 women?
It was 2 men and they had a baby.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was just like, oh,
They've-
It's an older
yeah.
one.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I hope so. But I'm just seeing stuff like that. If they want to promote diversity, if they want to, you know, if Lego wants to be this company that accepts everybody, then we have to acknowledge everybody.
Right.
Like, and the fairest way to do that is not to blanket code everybody as a yellow person,
Mhm.
because what you're telling everybody is that your original color is not acceptable.
So have they
Mhm.
said that in recent years? Like yellow is everyone?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of
Yeah.
always been their stance. I don't think they've changed it.
I can't
Yeah,
imagine.
and I think-
they're gonna
I think it's just
stand
an
up on
older, like kind of scapegoat to kind of,
Right.
you know, ensure that everybody feels
And it
like they're equal.
Works. I mean, it
Yeah,
works.
it
There are
works.
a lot of people who buy that. And I like, honestly, I buy it too. Like, I like having my yellow minifigure, but there is always a part of me that was like, that, you know, also has a problem with me being yellow. I don't know. Like,
Mhm.
again, that little pit in my stomach
that.
that's like, ooh,
Hmm.
I don't know about that. But
Mhm.
I don't
felt
know.
that too.
Have you
See,
seen,
that's- yeah.
oh, go ahead, Ninja.
No, I was just thinking that's interesting because, like you said, I'm obviously of a different ethnicity, and so I never really thought that with the yellow. I was just like, oh,
Mhm.
they're all yellow. So
Well, thank you for not thinking that. That means you didn't have
Yeah.
that prejudice
yeah.
thought in your
Yeah.
head.
Mhm.
nice.
That is a good thing.
That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. And even if you did it, you would. I mean, acknowledging a prejudice doesn't make it bad either. So,
Right.
yeah,
I mean,
like,
I'm the same
yeah.
as you, Shy. I have like every ethnicity in my family, so
yeah,
I'll
you're
play
a
that stuff.
confused kid as well, right?
definitely, most
Mm.
definitely.
That's just what I say. My children are going to be very confused. Like every time I fill out an application, other.
There's going to be so many
Decline-
more of them in the
decline
world,
to-
though.
That's there's never been something for me to check off.
See, I
Yeah.
always mark white, but I
Mm.
feel
But-
so
yeah.
wrong.
I always mark other, which always
Other.
feels really bad too.
I
Why?
just hate it when they're like, select only one. I'm like,
Yeah. I'm like,
How's
well,
that
I'm going to
possible?
go with the one that's not white, you know, like, because I'm not white, you know, like that's the thing. It's like,
Yeah.
as soon as you add a color to white, it's not white anymore. So it's like,
Right.
I'm going to pick the other
I
one.
like how there's like
even though
two
that's not true.
versions. Yeah, like
That's funny.
ethnicity, and then you have like
Mhm.
race.
Yep.
And I'm like, wait, what makes these
What's the
different?
difference? Huh.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm like,
I like how
this
they
is too
put
nuanced for me.
they put white and they put Hispanic with no white. And I'm like, what about
Oh.
Hispanic with white?
Yeah.
Where am I?
That means like Spanish or something.
From
What do you
Spain,
look
yeah.
like?
yeah, you're
or from
you're-
Argentina
yeah,
or Venezuela or something like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Decline
buddy.
to answer.
Huh.
Thank you for that new law.
Goodness.
Yep.
Have you guys seen that Lego has like the world builder partnership with some site that like facilitates people being able to like present ideas and have collaborators with it? And basically they're asking people to make new Lego themes. Have you seen that? I forgot what it's called. I think it's called like a world builder.
I've heard of something like this.
Mhm.
I've never seen it.
I've had this idea for a while where I wanted to have, you know, because they basically want to make new shows like Ninjago, right? Where they want to have like, or like Hidden Side, where they have like the main character and, you know, all sorts of other things. And I was like, wouldn't it be great if it was like a pick your own adventure type thing
Mhm.
with a like kind of non-gendered or, you know, non-binary minifigure who's the main character. And then they come with the people pack of heads of like, you know, non-gendered kid heads, right? Like, so everybody is a cute little smile with freckles or something. And there's a bunch of hair and there's a bunch of this, and you can pick which one you want to be and you can make your character, or, you know, you can make a character that looks different than you. Exactly. Like the crayon pack, like it would just come with that. And that's the main character. And like the main character goes through this like story, and like I had a whole idea and it will never ever come to fruition because it's way too much work. But I was like, wouldn't it be great if they took this opportunity to make a completely new Lego world, because all their IPs have yellow minifigures? Like, couldn't they just make the people pack that Cece's talking about? Like, couldn't they just do the things that they're not doing because this is a different thing? And like, maybe it needs to come from the fans. Like, maybe I need to go on and actually do it.
But do you think that's
for it?
because a lot of people are very uncomfortable talking about color if they're not that color. See, I think that's where it's biting us right now, is that the discussion of this topic is not very common because people are afraid they might say something and then get canceled.
Yeah.
Cancel. Just like
I'd
this
rather people
episode. No.
have the.
I'd rather people say something and then then say, "Oh, my bad," rather than being like defensive. I think, or like, I don't know, or dismissive of people taking offense to something. I don't know. I want it to be a conversation. Like, I feel like it's hard with YouTube like this, where it's like we're having a conversation here and people are going to add to it later. And then they could cancel us for something that we said, but we didn't have a conversation. Like, we don't get to respond except to say like, "Oh, sorry," which I think is a fine response. But at the same time, like, it's just not equal. It's not equal playing ground. And this is just what happens over and over and over again. And things get taken out of context. It's just, it stinks.
And people will always be offended.
Yes. And people will always want to offend. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are always going to be people who don't care or, don't see it.
Yep.
I like it when people get offended for me and I'm like, yo, chill. It's okay.
Like, if I'm not offended, why are you?
Yeah. I was like, hey, relax. I found that funny.
Yeah. I'm like, I have a sense of humor. I didn't think I got here.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that we need to brush with this topic?
I hope I'm hopeful.
Like
Like Claire was kind of saying, like, I hope that, the global discussion has increased, and I hope that like there's something coming out of it. We might not see it for a while, might not see it in our lifetime, who knows, but I hope that people are at least open to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Get rid of the yellow. I'm just kidding. You don't have to get rid of the yellow Lego. I just introduce a people pack. Just something very generic, and you'll satisfy all this.
I feel like just try something new. If they don't like it, they'll cancel it. Like, what's
get
the risk?
head of diversity that knows what they're doing and consult with them and don't listen to us. You know what I mean? Like,
like, what do we know, really?
Yeah, exactly. We're just consumers, but like there are absolutely people out there that know better than we do at this point. But the fact that we are talking about it, at least, hopefully creates like a discourse here, and if you wanted to escape and only play with Lego toys, I'm surprised you made it this far in the episode.
I mean, come on.
Really? You made it this far in the podcast.
Remember how many times people commented, this is not a Lego podcast.
They know what they signed up for.
We know that. We know that.
Life first, Lego second.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is if Crayola can acknowledge it, Lego can acknowledge it.
Yes, Band-Aid did it too.
Please
that's
acknowledge colors. It's okay. I totally condone it. I have no offense whatsoever.
Yep.
Whatsoever.
It might be better for sales. No, I'm just kidding.
It could be.
Could be.
It could be.
Maybe they'll listen to that part. I don't know.
They made so much money this year. I think they can risk it.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, they didn't expect to make this much money this year. So they have a lot of if they don't go above their budget next year, they have a lot of discretionary income to play with next couple years. Hopefully
maybe
they don't
they'll
blow
do
it.
this. Maybe they could do this skin tone change during the next demand shaping.
Yeah.
Cold-blooded.
Oh, that's so cold. Are you familiar with that term, Jamay? Have you made it there?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay.
I had to
no. Yeah.
I think we've mentioned in an episode that you may have seen.
So.
Lightly. It wasn't a focus topic. So demand shaping is when it's a Lego term that they created.
It's the Bionicle marketing thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
see, Jamay knows.
Yeah. I just had to do a big archive search in my head to be like, I definitely heard that this week listening to this podcast, but what is it?
Yes.
There we go. Too much information.
I love you. But yes, it's good. As a person of color, I am happy to see more people on the platform. So thank you for jumping to the YouTube realm. And I'm excited to see what you come up with. I hope it's not just streaming. I want to see content. Not to say I'm
Yeah,
telling you what
yeah.
to do, but I hope you do some cool things because you have a lot of great ideas. It'll be nice to see them in a curated platform.
This is a good, boost for me to like get that stuff going because I can drag my feet forever. I know I can. But I appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. I haven't made a video in a week.
Yeah, what's going on over there?
I just took a little break. I just wanted to kind of chill out for a little bit.
You have to work.
Enjoy
You got
it.
stuff to do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But
kids.
usually I find time to do it. But lately I've just been trying to sleep.
Take care of your health.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sleeping's good.
Is that why you started doing this in the first place?
I should have done it. Yeah. So I'm in this whole mode of like taking care of myself because I have to because I don't walk anymore. I can't use that excuse. I have to literally take care of myself. So yeah. I have made a video. Sorry. Nobody cares. All right. So does anyone have anything else to share? Any last rounds before we end it for this week? Ninja.
I don't.
Claire.
No, I just messed the setup. Anyway, I messed this up.
Wow.
But no, this is good. One thing I was gonna say, Jamay, like at least from like, you come onto the platform and you have all these amazing intentions, and you're like, okay, like you're queer, you're a person of color, you're like you represent this like whole community and stuff, and it's really important, and like you need to be here, like we need to see you here, but like don't feel pressure if you want to do like a dumb video. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know.
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
Like just have fun with it. Like not every piece of content needs to like revolutionize the world. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. No, I think I was just like, it's funny because I mean the first stream that I did was with my partner who was a woman, but it was really just us hanging out and building together because we had a shared interest about plants, and like that was it. And then the next one was just, what set am I going to go buy right now to go do a stream that I care about? And it just happened. I was just like, oh, this one's not that expensive and it won't take that long to build. Let's just do this. And we're going to talk about race because let's just get into it. But I will make dumb content.
When you're second straight.
3 hours. I was like, like sitting here alone afterwards, like I need to decompress. Like talk about taking care of yourself. I was like, I'm going to have a beer and watch some Loki or something.
That's how I know it was a good convo though.
Yeah, right? I know. It was a good conversation.
Kind of like how this one just flew by. Can't believe it's been an hour.
It does.
Well, Jamay, do you have any last thoughts aside for that?
No. I mean, I'm happy to be here. I think that something that I like to think about when I take up space on the internet, in my life or whatever, is just that I know that I carry with me my own identity, and that me being here is hopefully helpful in some way for somebody maybe like me. And that I also know that I don't need to talk seriously about it all the time. I can I have my video coming about my Lego room, and that's it. And I'm just like, that's the architect part of me of like, I made a little rendering of what I wanted my room to look like, and I made it in Photoshop, and I made a floor plan, and this is what I did. Here you go. That's going to be my first video probably. And that's just, I'm like, that has nothing to do with me and my identity. It's just like, here's something people might like.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, you being here and taking up space is like really important, not just for people like you, but like people that aren't like you too. I think that's also
true. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah.
Well then, in that case, thank you for joining us this episode. We hope to have you again. I'm sure we will. And if that's it, let's roll that music. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
Bye. You want to get Sans in now? I'll get him and say hi. Hold on. He'll probably say no.
Without you around, Sans like disappeared. Good.
That's good.
Are we going to see this one?
Probably not.